Hi everyone, welcome back to Alice and the Giant Bookshelf and welcome to part 2 of my book shopping in Oxford and the Cotswolds video. Today's video is the Cotswolds. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. This video is the second part of a two-part video about book shopping in Oxford and book shopping in the Cotswolds. And in the last video, if you haven't checked that out yet, I covered the bookshops that I visited when I went on a trip to Oxford. And in the same trip, I then went to the Cotswolds. This trip was partly inspired by Louise Boland's Bookshop Tours of Britain book and testing it out. There is a tour in here that involves going to Oxford and then into some villages in the Cotswolds. Now, there was not time to visit all of these different villages because we weren't just on this trip to go to bookshops. I'm sure you probably could do this tour in a day or two if you were only visiting bookshops and then moving on to the next village, but we were not doing that. First of all, let's go book shopping together in the Cotswolds. The next clips will be of the different bookshops we visited, and I will see you at the end to tell you what I bought. The first bookshop we found in the Cotswolds was Books You'll Love in Moreton-in-Marsh. This was a lovely little bookshop with a great selection of lots and lots of paperbacks, and in the back of the shop it also had a second-hand book section. On the day we were there, there was a £5 paperback sale, so very difficult to resist buying something in this bookshop. My absolute highlight of the trip was Borsoi Bookshop in Stow-on-the-Wold. I highly recommend a visit to Borsoi Bookshop, which is absolutely lovely. This bookshop stocks art books as well as a good selection of both non-fiction and fiction, and it had a lovely children's section. The best thing about Borsoi Bookshop was that it was being heavily supervised by its resident Dachshund Jack Russell Cross, Bryn, and Bryn's human is the owner of the bookshop. In the village of Burford, you will find the Mad Hatter Bookshop. This was a delightful, predominantly children's bookshop with lots of lovely bags and accessories, picture books, and a really good YA section as well. And in the back were adult books, both fiction and non-fiction, and I had a really good time exploring this little bookshop. Our last village stop in the Cotswolds was Chipping Norton. Chipping Norton is home to Jaffe and Neil, a bookshop which also has a cafe in it which is only open at the weekend. And this bookshop had a great selection of local books as well as plenty of bestsellers, fiction and non-fiction. The children's section in the back was really big and well worth a look. And upstairs there were some second-hand books here as well and some nice places to sit. Also in Chipping Norton is a well-stocked Oxfam bookshop. This was our last stop on this visit to the Cotswolds. Right, welcome back. Hopefully you've just seen the different bookshops that we visited in the Cotswolds. And I only have 2 books that I hauled in the Cotswolds and 1 non-bookish item that I bought in a 3rd bookshop. So the first bookshop we visited in the Cotswolds was not in the book that we were following. It was called Books You Will Love and it was in Moreton-in-Marsh. In Books You'll Love, I bought a book that I've already shown on the channel once, and that is the complete Sookie Stackhouse stories by Charlaine Harris. And this also isn't adding new numbers to the giant TBR, because I did have on the giant TBR A Touch of Dead, and I'm going to replace this book on the TBR with this book because this one has the complete short stories, as it says in the title, and A Touch of Dead was at one point the complete short stories, but Charlaine Harris obviously wrote more, so an updated edition came out. So I bought this. It should have been £8.99 according to a sticker on the back, but as soon as I entered this shop, the man behind the counter told me that all paperbacks that day were £5. So when I saw this staring at me from the shelves, I immediately knew that I had to have it for £5. Really pleased to find this, especially for a reduced price. So yeah, that was my first purchase in the Cotswolds. Secondly, this was from my very favourite bookshop of the whole trip, and that was the Borzoi bookshop in Stow-on-the-Wold. And if you're ever in Stow-on-the-Wold, I highly recommend visiting the Borzoi bookshop. It's a little bit out of the way. It's kind of in a little court setback from the main road, so it did take a little bit of looking for, but once I found it, I was so happy. This bookshop has a resident dog called Bryn. Lovely shop. Very friendly, very happy to help you find any books that you're looking for. In the Borzoi bookshop, I did make a purchase because I couldn't not make a purchase. It was just so lovely there. And I bought a really gorgeous book that I'm really pleased with. So I think these are quite new. I think Penguin has recently started doing these, and they are, I think the collection's possibly called Small Cloth Bound Classics or something like that, because this is a bit smaller than, it's a bit smaller than a regular sized book. Definitely smaller than the Penguin Cloth Bound Classics, which I own one of. I own The Woman in White, and this is The Lottery by Shirley Jackson. Now I have read the short story The Lottery, and it is because I had heard that it's meant to be the best short story ever written. and I think it is really, really excellent. So I have read that. This also has 12 more stories, so 13 in total. And I love Shirley Jackson's work. So far I've read The Haunting of Hill House and We Have Always Lived in the Castle. I haven't read any of her short stories apart from The Lottery, so I'm really, really looking forward to this. And it is absolutely stunning. So yeah, couldn't help but buy this. I was tempted in by the lovely dog and yeah, tempted in by this beautiful, beautiful cloth bound classic and Shirley Jackson. This could actually be perfect to read for spooky season, so I may even read some of these tales in late October. We will see. I'll let you know. So that was my second book purchase and my last book purchase in the Cotswolds. So I didn't buy anything at the Mad Hatter bookshop, and at Jaffe and Neil, as I say, my husband bought me a candle very kindly, which I've hopefully inserted a picture of. That came in a lovely Books Are My bag, which I really liked. That was my haul from the Cotswolds. I have managed to add to my giant TBR, but I'm pretty impressed that I've only added one book in the Cotswolds and one book in Oxford. That's pretty amazing for a bookaholic like me. I hope you've enjoyed this video about the Cotswolds and part 1 about Oxford. Do let me know in the comments, have you visited any of these shops? Have you visited Oxford or the Cotswolds? Or have you read any of these books, or would you like to? Chat to me, everything bookish, in the comments down below. And if you have enjoyed this video today, please do give it a like. Please do consider subscribing if you haven't already. And if you haven't watched my Oxford video, feel free to go over and check that out next. I will hope very much to see you all again soon for another video all about books here on Alice and the Giant Bookshelf. Bye for now.